Our next teller is our co-director here at the Decatur Show, Mr. Bryan Dodd. He always has something funny and southern to share with us. Please welcome Bryan.
I kind of dread following that, but I'll do my best. Tonight's theme is what ails you, and I'm going to tell you what ails me. It's an affliction that I've had for some time now. It pops up every once in a while. The good news, it's not contagious, but I'm suffering from it greatly tonight. It's a situation where it just pops up every once in a while. You feel bad about yourself. You can sometimes, the biggest attribute is that you feel like nothing seems to be going your way. And the medicinal term for it is, stay with me, cranial rectal inversion. My name is Bryan. I suffer from cranial rectal inversion. For those of you not caught up yet, I keep my head up my ass. When I was 36 years old, speaking of Coumadin, when I was 36 years old, I am on a treadmill. My heart rate, 120 beats a minute, whatever. And I felt a tightness in my chest. Now, in my family, you're not that macho. When you have a tightness in your heart, let me tell you why you immediately call your primary care physician. My dad was 46 when he died. My great uncle was 42 when he died. My grandfather was the old man. He almost made it to AARP. He was 52 when he died. So as I tell people, I have a bullseye on my heart and a target on my ass. And life is gutting for me. So what happens, I go to the doctor, I got a chest pain, yada yada. Next thing I do when I wake up, I got a cardiologist standing over me. He says, you have a 90% blockage in your left anterior dissenting something. I'm not a nurse, but I'm getting where I know medical terms way too well. And let me tell you, as a young man who's 36 in the Coumadin clinic, I do really well with the older women. I never know. I look at those guys, you're 60. I'm not 60 yet. Anyhow, so I wake up and I've got the stent in my chest. And the best news is there's another guy standing there. He goes, I'm an endocrinologist. And I'm like, wow, what's that? He goes, you're diabetic. I'm like, wow, that's great. Thank you, genes. So anyhow, that was the initial stages of the cranial rectal inversion. Now I'm going to tell you a few things. I know more about heart disease than someone my age should really know. So like all my friends, when their fathers and mothers were going through this, they always called me first. Well, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? Because I know way too much about it. My brother had a quadruple bypass when he was 39. It's not, the Kennedys go into politics, the Bushes go into politics, the Barrymores go into acting, the Dodds, we go into heart disease and early death. That's my family business. Welcome to it. So when people talk about living in the moment, I'm like, there right now. So anyhow, I get this thing called atrial fibrillation. And let me tell you what atrial fibrillation is. The lower half of your heart is listening to a string of pearls, maybe some kind of, really low-key kind of big man, while the top of your heart is listening to some kind of industrial house funk music. This goes on 24 hours a day, which is why I wake up tired, I go to bed tired. When you ask me, how am I doing? If you really ask me, I'm going to always say, I'm tired, because I'm in this atrial fibrillation. So what they do sometimes to correct is the thing called cardioconversion. So they do is they put you to sleep. And what they do is they put you on this thing, and they come in and they're talking to you, like count from 10 to 1. And you count from 10, you get down to about 4, and suddenly you're out. Well, I get down to around 4, and they're waiting for me to start slowing down. I'm going 3, 2, and then suddenly, I swear, a lightning bolt shot through my chest. I literally bounced up, and if you're going to get shocked like that, do yourself a favor, make sure you're asleep. Because when I came to, immediately, I'm like, what was that? And the doctor's eyes were about this big, and he could see a lawsuit. He was already beeping his lawyer. And he goes, did you feel that? And I go, yeah. He goes, what did it feel like? I said, I felt like Stone Mountain just got ripped through my ass. What was that? And he goes, we may not have given you enough sleeping substance. I'm like, really? I had that twice. Now here's the thing, once they do it, it's automatically cleared. How am I doing on time?
Doing great.
Good, because I can ramble all night on this, and I start talking about my cranial rectal inversion, and you will use this again in statements sometime. What's wrong? I got cranial rectal inversion. It's a common illness. You'll be trying that. Anyhow, so then they tried it, they did it, they fixed it. 3 months later, it's back. They did it a second time. 3 months later, it's back. At this point, they're going to do something called cardioablation. Anybody know what cardiac ablation is? Anyone heard of it? Okay, let me go ahead and tell you. Cardiac ablation is when they want to go into your heart and figure out where's this rhythm occurring, and they want to check it out and they want to zap it, which all sounds good. The problem with cardiac conversion, or ablation, ablation, thank you, is that the entryway, guess what the entryway is? There. Right there. Now this is the area of my body that I don't want anyone going near unless I want you to go near there. And there haven't been many people I want to go near there. So they come in there, we're going through your femoral artery. I'm like, seriously, if you go into my heart, you're going to go in down here. And the first thing they do is they want to shave you. Well, I don't call it a shave. This thing's not a razor. It looks like a razor. But what they do is they always find the youngest 20-something nurse who's just out of school, who's the prettiest thing in the world, who's going to make this middle-aged man feel deeply conscious about the gift that I have. First off, they put you in a room and they give you this, she's coming in there and she's going to shave me there. But in order to contain my pride, she gives me this tiny little folded washcloth to put right there. And I'm like, you need a bigger towel. No, I'm fooling myself. I don't need it. Because it's 14 degrees inside there. You've heard of shrinkage? I had a valley. My boys, I'm going to get graphic. This is where you might want to leave the room. But my boys were somewhere up in my stomach, and my main thing was completely gone. I don't even know what happened yet. Like a turtle. There was nothing. I'm telling you, it was 14 degrees in there, and I'm butt naked, except for this nice warm washcloth they put right there. Right there. And so she takes this razor, and the razor doesn't shave, it rips hair out one at a time. And you can see blood pulsating in my eyes, and I'm like, there's not enough morphine to make that go away. But they're just getting started. So then they do that. Oh, by the way, let me tell you, you're in this room, it's 14 degrees, I mentioned that, and I swear to you, it's a table that's always about 6 inches thinner than your back. So I'm laying on this 2x4, and my arms are out like this. You get the image. I mean, okay, oh good, okay. So anyhow, what happens is, I'll get all my thoughts straight. So they do the thing, they go in, they sit around, they figure out where is it, with the 3 wires, they go in through here, they go into your heart, and they're trying to figure out where is this irregular beat occurring, and then when they feel like they found out where it is, they literally scar the inside of your heart by sending like 12 million volts into your heart. And you're awake when you do this. I will tell you then, I understand the addiction of morphine, because it's the greatest stuff in the world, but can I buy this? And so they gave me morphine, they zapped me, they got it straightened out. But what they do is because it's the femoral artery, and my cumin level has been so low, a couple of weeks ago it was high enough that they said you literally should not be shaving. Because when I would shave, I was like, why is it still bleeding 10 minutes later? And when I went to the doctor, they go, your cumin level's up. So anyhow, I'm jumping all over the place. They have this like ball they put right there, on this side rather, to block up the vein while you're in recovery. Which is fine, because you're on morphine. I don't care, you can do what you want. Morphine's good. But eventually they want to take it out. Now what I didn't know then, and this is where it's going to get ugly, catheter. If they ever threaten you with a catheter, you call me and I will come hold a diaper over you and I will take the spill for you to prevent you from getting a catheter put in. Because when they put a catheter in, the unfortunate thing is they take it out. And they don't do it while you're asleep. They do it while we're going to take it out now. So they rip it out. My eyes are bulging. I am in so much pain. And then when they pull that ball thing off, they got to pull the catheter for there as well. Because there's a catheter in or the tube they put in your femoral artery. They pull that out. So anyhow, so if you're in the hospital and this happens to you, do yourself a favor. It will get really gross and disgusting. But just rub your face. And if it smells like ass, you'll know that you have cranial rectal inversion.